Yo, what is going on, YouTube? Guess what? We are back. CDL is back. Let's go. Dummy hype. And you know what that means. We're back with Pick'ems. And yeah, this first episode is probably going to be a little bit on the longer side since I didn't really upload a lot during the off season. Been crazy busy. Crazy busy. So, yeah. Either way, we're gonna get into this video, and like I said, this one's gonna be a little bit on the longer side because we're also going to talk new rosters, obviously new organizations that you can see, what I think of the rosters, who I think wins the matches, stuff like that. Also, sorry, as I click on that on accident. Also, there are more weeks now, so there are 4 weeks, and each team plays 7 matches, I believe, in each split now instead of 5. So new format this year for online. Yeah, so gonna be a little bit we're gonna get a little bit more content with the online stuff, and uh yeah, the record's gonna be hopefully good this year. Hopefully good. Either way, let's get right into the predictions. Boston Breach versus Atlanta FaZe. Now, new Boston Breach lineup is Snoopy, Capsidal, Slasher, and Priesta. Now, I think this roster has a lot of potential. I feel like it's gonna be like one of those teams that like hovers. It's gonna be like a T6 team or like hovers around there. They could definitely dark horse an event, get like a top, win at the highest capability, or like upset a top 4 team. They're not a team to sleep on, that's for sure. Very talented top to bottom. Obviously, New York. Priest was on New York last year. He won COD champs under New York, and they still dropped him, which is very unfortunate. But yeah, I like this team a lot. I'm not gonna lie. They're solid. But they are going against a powerhouse squadron in Atlanta FaZe. You guys probably already know the rosters, but either way, Draza, Simp, Abizi, Celium, absolutely disgusting. Obviously, this is an S tier team, top 14 in terms of talent from top to bottom. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I think this match is gonna go Atlanta FaZe's favor 3-1. Um, it's Atlanta FaZe. These guys, I've been watching a lot of their scrims, and these guys have been on the grind. Draws is gross as usual. All these 4 guys are gonna be absolutely disgusting. I don't think Boston Breach is gonna be there yet in terms of like trying to upset a team against FaZe right now. But like I said, give them some time, and I think you'll see those like not as talented teams. I'm not knocking Boston, but like Atlanta FaZe, the talent's going to prevail at the beginning of the game because teams aren't going to be like 100% sure how to play the game. So the talent on FaZe is going to prevail in this for sure. But yeah, next matchup is Seattle Surge and LA Thieves. Now, let's go down the Seattle Surge roster. Abuza, Hook, Illy, Arcides, and then Coach Rambo Ray, obviously. But yeah, so basically you got 2 force of X Optic. You got X Optic Coach, you got Arcides, you got Abuza, who is a young, cracked out kid. He's super gross. This roster is a little. I mean, I feel like everyone was kind of hating on this roster when they were first announced a little bit ago. But I think they've proved. I think they've gained a little bit more respect. I don't think anyone has them like crazy high. You know what I'm saying? But I think they've gained a little bit more respect from the community. But they're going up against Los Angeles Thieves. That roster is Cammy, Afro, Joe Deceives, and Ghosty. So you have basically 2 force of Rocker last year. Joe Deceives, kids cracked out so good. Was on LEG last year. And then Dan Ghosty, that guy, His comms are on another level. He looks like he's stepped out of more of like the IGL. Obviously, his comms are always going to be gross, but he looks like he stepped more into the form that he was in Challengers and kills a lot more than than his role on Optic. His role on Optic wasn't really to slay, but it looks like he's filling that role now on this Thieves team, and he is absolutely gross. So I think this is going to be a banger matchup. I think honestly, if this goes game 5, I think Seattle takes it because obviously their search prowess, like just their roster in general, is going to be really good at search. But I don't think it goes game 5. I think 3-1 Thieves. Because like I said, I think the matches at the beginning of the game are usually favored towards talent. Like I said in this match, I think Thieves got the talent a little bit more than Search. But like I said, if it goes game 5, I could definitely see Seattle 3-2 victory for sure. But if it doesn't go game 5, I think Thieves win. Next matchup, this is gonna be a banger series. New York Subliners. Obviously, like I said with the Boston Breach, they dropped Priestess and they actually picked up Sib. They're looking to upgrade obviously their slaying potential on the roster. I mean, these guys won COD champs last year. They were the top dogs in MW2. I don't think they're gonna slow down. This team's disgusting. They obviously upgraded talent wise. Obviously in their eyes, they upgraded talent wise. So these guys should be a unit, a top 4. They should definitely be like one of the A to S tier teams, top 4 for sure. But they are going up against a very, very talented Optic Texas. It is Pred, Dashi, Kenny, and Shotzi. Obviously saying that roster from top to bottom, it's just like listing Atlanta FaZe, bro. All 4 of those players are absolutely disgusting. So, yeah, this is an exciting match. This is a very exciting match. I'm gonna double points this one. I think Optic 3-2. I think this goes the distance. I think this is a grimy series. I can honestly see this one going either way, but I'm going to give the edge a little bit to Optic. But yeah, like I said, these maps are going to be close. Super, super close. Next matchup, Miami Heretics versus the new founded Carolina Royal Ravens. Obviously, as you could tell by the name, these guys, they're still the same owners and stuff like that. They just moved to Carolina instead of London. But they are playing also the new founded Miami Heretics. Obviously this was the old Florida roster, or the old Florida team rebranded to Miami Heretics. And obviously, if you've watched COD back in the day, you should know 3/4 of this lineup. Yeah. This is basically Heretics, except it's Vickle. But sorry. It is Lucky, Eric Boom, Metals, and Vickle. And then Eric Boom is the substitute. Yeah. It's Heretics. Carolina Royal Ravens. They have Gwyn. Sorry, I'm getting a little stuffy. They have Gwyn, Playster, GodRx, and Real. So you basically have, I know GodRx and Real last year teamed on the Minnesota Rocker Academy team for a good portion of the year. Obviously, GodRx left that team and joined Purge and Yeezy's team last year at the end of the year and won the Challengers Championship with his new team. But GodRx and Real have a lot of chem together. These guys have been grinding since day one. I remember when the game dropped, these guys were immediately in scrims. They were, that to me, and I don't know, like they just want to be good. I could see the hunger on this team. This team is GodRx and Clay are gonna be hungry. Obviously, GodRx's return. That guy's always super consistent. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give the edge to Carolina, and I'm honestly gonna go. I might feel 3-0 here. I think Miami's gonna come out. I think they're a good team. I think they're gonna be a dark horse sleeper team, but I don't know. I feel like Carolina is going to come out with the absolute fire this series. I'm just going to go 3-0. I'm feeling a 3-0. Next matchup, definitely going to be an interesting one. It is the new Minnesota Rocker lineup. Obviously, if you guys haven't seen, is what I meant to say. Rocker has now officially merged with the G2 Esports. So they are, V1 and G2 merged together. So basically G2 is now Minnesota. But the roster is Lins, Accuracy, Vivid, and then Awakening. It's gonna be. It kind of reminds me of gives me like a Seattle vibe from last year. It's basically Lamar and three crackheads. Basically the best way of explaining it. I don't know. This team's interesting. I have to kind of judge the way I feel about them when I watch them play. I haven't really seen them too much in scrims, but they can be good, obviously. But I don't rate them super highly at the moment. But they are going up against a Vegas Legion. And you have Nero, Purge, Attach, and Standy. So obviously Standy's returning to Vegas. Attach coming from Minnesota. So Attach versus his old org. Purge, obviously, like I said, when I was talking about Carolina, he won Challengers Champs with GodRx. So super talented young kid. And then Nero, previously Boston. We all know Nero's potential. I think it's going to be a grimy series. I'm going to go Vegas in 5, though. Vegas in 5. I think these are two kind of similar teams in terms of skill level battling it out. And I think I'm going to give Vegas the edge in search. And that's just my gist of the series, to be honest with you. Next is Toronto Ultra versus LAG. Now, before I get started on this, I think this is going to be a smoke show. But let me get into the rosters with you. Obviously, Toronto Ultra picking up Envoy, replacing Hixie, and Hixie unfortunately going to Challengers. But yeah, this team, this is one of the top 4 teams that we're all expecting to be very, very, very good. Yeah. There's nothing else much to say about Toronto Ultra. I feel like they upgraded in getting Envoy. He's kind of like the same as Hixie, except I think his slaying potential's a little bit on the greater side. Yeah. And then LAG, I mean, I don't know. This team doesn't really entice me very much. It's Estriel, Assault. It is Fame. I'm trying to remember the 4th. That's how bad. DiamondCon. That's how bad. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I just think nothing else much to say about that one. Now this one should be interesting. Boston Breach versus Seattle Surge. I think Boston is a little less. I think they're going to be just a tad less harder than LA Thieves, but this is one that definitely needs to go to Game 5. And for some reason, I kind of feel like Boston starts off 0-2, and I think they go Game 5, and I think Seattle squeezes out a dub. And I think that's going to be my. People would probably call that my crazy prediction. I don't know though. I think this is the game where Seattle brings it to Game 5 and then shows their S&D potential and wins Game 5. Next matchup, Carolina Royal Ravens versus the Vegas Legion. Now, this is Clay going against his old squadron. And yeah, this is going to be a fun one. I'm excited to watch this matchup, actually. but I think it's going to go in favor of Carolina only due to the fact that, like I said, they've been grinding since day one. I think they open up the league 2-0. I think they 3-1 Vegas Legion, and yeah, only because, like I said, they've been grinding super hard since day one. Yeah. Next matchup is LAG versus New York Subliners. Now, I hate to be this guy again, but like LAG's kind of got the rough end of the stick in their first two games. They're playing two top 4 teams, in my opinion, and they're gonna get steamrolled. Nothing much else to say. Now, this one's gonna be a fun one. Atlanta FaZe versus LA Thieves. Now, this is Draza going up against his old organization. This should be fun. I think this is actually going to be like a little bit closer of a series than people think. Obviously, if people are probably going to say Atlanta FaZe in this series, I am going to as well, but I think it's going to go map 5. And I'm going to give Atlanta FaZe the squeeze out W here. And I think they're going to do that because I think they're going to maybe underestimate how good the Thieves actually are. But I still think they're going to squeeze out a W here. Last matchup is Optic versus Minnesota. Lamar does play good against Optic, but it's not going to be good enough. I think it's going to be a 3-0 Optic. I think Optic needs to start off hot in the league, but this is going to be my predictions for week 1 of the CDL, which also is on YouTube. So yeah. I'm sad that it's not like streamed on Twitch as well, but it is what it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the predictions. I'm sorry it has been a very long time, but obviously, if it's CDL season, man, we're gonna bring the prediction videos, and I will in the next video, obviously, since we're just starting out. I have an 0-0 record this year. Not even gonna put the 0-0 up yet. I'll put it up when I actually have a record to go with. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next week in the other prediction video. Peace.